You everyone for joining us today. We're super excited to dive in. I have a great panel of folks here, excited to talk to everyone about the new AI agent .34, what we brought and what's coming in .35. So before I hand over the reins here, I want to go ahead and sort of talk through the agenda and go over some of the Pathfinder community news. For today, we are going to dive in, get to know everybody a little bit, go over the AI Agent Studio and AI governance. We will be showing a demo, and then at the end of the session, we will have open Q&A. Once all of that is done and you guys click goodbye, you will be sent a survey. Please complete that. That helps us to know what we're doing well and in what areas we can improve. Next, for the Pathfinder community news, we have some really exciting things coming up. So mark your calendars for December 11th. We have a user group session around how to host a hackathon, which is super fun. I actually, a few months ago, went to a hackathon in LA with a bunch of college students, and it was so cool to just walk in there and you expected a party, but it was complete silence. So hackathons are super cool. They're fun. The user group will tell us all about the creation challenges and benefits. So I am going to share the event invitation in the chat so you guys can check it out on the community, read about it more. And if it's something you're interested in, go ahead and register. Next up, we have our Virtual Automation Anywhere Pathfinder Summit. We are so pumped about this. The team is putting in so much effort and thought behind the different sessions. We're trying to make it super fun, and it will be. And we have some great speakers. We're really leaning into our team here at Automation Anywhere, as well as different community members. So it really, really is going to lean into that community of automators, and we're going to talk about everything from how to build automations to how to pitch to your stakeholders and get buy-in. So there's something for everybody. Check it out, and I'm going to share the link to that as well. I expect to see each and every one of you there. It's going to be a really great time. Okay, so today, we are going over AI Agent Studio and AI governance. Just a couple of quick notes before we get started. This session is recorded. Use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen for questions. I have Max here. He's going to be helping me field some of the questions. In the meantime, once we get to the Q&A session, we'll hand things over to Rinku, Jason, and Nirmal, and it's going to be a great time. Again, at the end, feedback is a gift, so please complete the end of session survey. That helps me to make sure that you all are happy and satisfied with how these webinars are going, and any feedback you have to make it better, please share. Great. So before we get started, I want us to answer a question to really get us in the mindset. So I'm going to go ahead and launch our first poll. Okay, so since we're talking about AI Agent Studio, I want to know, what stage are you currently in on your AI journey? So we have, I'm interested but haven't started exploring yet. I'm independently exploring. I represent a company that is exploring but is not yet, but is yet to deploy. And I or my company have implemented our first use case. And finally, I or my company have hit the ground running and implemented several use cases. I'm going to give us a couple more seconds here. We still have some answers coming through. Looking at these results, 37% are interested but haven't started exploring yet. 23% are independently exploring. 29% represent a company that is exploring but hasn't deployed yet. And 9% have just implemented their first use case. with only 3% having hit the ground running. So this is the perfect spot for you guys. Now, let's go ahead and get to know our panelists. Nirmal, starting with you, could you tell us your name and current role at Automation Anywhere?
Sure. So I'm Nirmal Matimaran, and I'm a lead technical writer, and I take care of the AI Agent Studio documentation and also involved in other developer documentation. Yeah, that's it. Me.
Thank you. And then could you tell us about a moment that completely changed your approach to what you do now?
Um, yeah, the working with automations itself, completely changed, and using the Gen AI is very handy in how we work today, and yeah, it has completely transformed me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rinku, do you want to go ahead and start your name and your role at Automation Anywhere?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm Rinku Sarkar, and I'm the Director of Product Management here, leading the charter for AI governance. I'm all about making sure our product has inculcated safe practices and has empowered you and provided you the right amount of tools to govern the usage of AI within our platform.
Thank you. And then if you were in the audience today, just thinking about some of the poll responses that we received, where people are on their current AI journey, what's one question you'd ask yourself as you watch this presentation?
Great question. I think looking at the poll responses, I believe, if I were in any of those brackets, just getting started or just exploring, I would think about, what are these tools and capabilities that are being provided so that I can speed up and accelerate my usage of AI, because definitely it's no longer a buzzword. It's become a mainstream technology that I can use to enhance productivity across the board. So definitely interested to see what the product team here has to offer.
Great, thank you. Jason, what is your current role at Automation Anywhere?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Trent. I am also Director of Product here at Automation Anywhere. Both Rink and I look after kind of AI Agent Studio as a whole. And while she focuses on the governance side, my charter is really focusing on tools and empowering folks just like yourselves to be able to fold generative AI into the automations and the solutions that you're building every day.
Hey, since you're coming at this from a little bit of a different perspective, if you were in the audience today, what's one question you'd ask yourself as you watch this presentation?
Yeah, I think probably one of the things I would think about is, especially considering we were pretty heavily weighted towards folks that are trying to explore and understand a little bit more. Similar to what Rinku said, I would probably approach it from I know what generative AI is, and I understand hopefully why it's impactful. But what I don't understand maybe is how to actually take advantage of it. And so I would be looking for ways, how can we harness that power, obviously in a safe and responsible way, but use it in a way that increases the efficacy or accuracy of the automations, or maybe even moves out of a phase where we can only automate so much and actually expands into more automation opportunities. So what is the tooling that I have available to me, and how do I take advantage of that best?
Great, thank you. And Max, over to you. What is your current role at Automation Anywhere?
Perfect. Thanks, Lisa. Hello, everyone. My name is Max Cassidy. I'm a senior manager here at Automation Anywhere, just on the community and Pathfinder team. Honestly, my focus is building vibrant communities and innovative pathways, all really with a purpose to drive engagement, learning, and transformation across the organizations.
Great. And then can you tell us about a moment that completely changed your approach to what you do currently?
Of course. Honestly, a moment for me was when I changed my view of what generative AI was. And I say this on a sense of, rather than looking at it of what can I use generative AI to take away from my day-to-day tasks, I'm thinking, how can I see generative AI as a personal assistant? What tasks would I benefit having a personal assistant doing? And honestly, being quite selfish here, one of the main tasks that I saw for that was actually cooking dinner. All I do now is take a photo of what's in my cupboards and fridge and ask AI to put me together some meal ideas from what's in there, and bang, just like that, I've got 10 different meal ideas, all from ingredients I've already got access to. So that's my personal assistant there, and I do the cooking. It's a great team.
That's awesome. I am taking notes as we speak. Before we dive into the next poll question, I want to ask the most important question here. Nirmal, starting with you, sweet or savory? Which do you prefer?
Sweet.
Rinku?
Of course it is sweet.
Okay. Jason?
I'm not going to break tradition. It has to be sweet. It has
Yeah, of course. And Max?
I'm gonna have to say sweet as well.
Okay. Good. We have a good crew here today. So everyone, you are in good hands. If you want to drop in the chat what you prefer, that would be great. We want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. With that, I'm going to go ahead and launch the second poll question. What is your biggest challenge when using Gen AI within automations? And this is a select all that applies. So go through and select each one that presents a big challenge in your current automations. So data privacy and LLM security, quality of model responses, accuracy, faithfulness and reliability, toxic and inappropriate content, appropriate tools to evaluate models, and I don't use Gen AI within automations. All right. We have a pretty good spread here. The majority, 47%, don't use Gen AI within automations. So this will be a good webinar for you. Data privacy and LLM security is a big one, followed by accuracy and faithfulness and reliability, and then quality of model responses. Thank you so much for your feedback. And team, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to you.
awesome. Thanks, Lou. Well, thanks everyone again for joining this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are in the world. I think that it's really important for us to kick off and actually start kind of focusing on this whole concept around agentic processing. And given that the responses we got in the poll questions, I think this is actually a really good area to go and orientate. At Automation Anywhere, we've made a big investment over the last, I'd say, 18 months or a little bit more, really trying to harness the power of generative AI and make it possible for pro devs, citizen devs, COE leads, everyone across the organization that's dealing with automation to take advantage of that and start to building it into their solutions. Now, it can do even more than what Max shared earlier with coming up with recipe ideas based on whatever is in your pantry. It can actually go and completely transform your business. And we actually believe that there's essentially been now, we're really starting off a third wave of automation capabilities here at Automation Anywhere. I think many of you probably know us as an RPA company and one of the leaders and sort of founders and pioneers in this space. A number of years ago, we introduced a capability around really more intelligent automation. That's going to be, whenever we brought in capabilities like our process discovery tool. Hopefully, some of you are taking advantage of our document automation capabilities, which allows us to go and really extract structured and unstructured information from documents. And now as we transition into sort of third wave, it's really all being led by agentic process automation. And here at Automation Anywhere, we have a fantastic platform that we think is uniquely suited to go and help you along your journey into automation capabilities with agents. Now, I wanted to start and maybe explain a little bit what we mean by agents, because there's a lot of different co-pilots and digital workers and assistants that are floating around out there. Whenever we think about agents, it's really comprised of two pieces. And you may remember this if you were on the product club a couple of months ago, whenever we showcased and we introduced AI Agent Studio to this audience. First is the usage of an AI skill. An AI skill is something that you build within Automation Anywhere. It's built directly within the control room, and it allows you to go and take the power of a generative AI model, so an OpenAI, Anthropic Claude, models provided by GCP, AWS, and others that you'll see today, and allows you to go and, if you want to, ground that model in organizational data. What does that mean? It really means taking pieces of information that are relevant to your business that the public models could never know about, and including that in their data set so that whenever they come back to you with a response, it's more accurate than it was before. This is an approach called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, and we'll talk to you about some new RAG capabilities that we have within the platform today. The last is around how you go and write that prompt. And really, this concept around prompt engineering is an emerging field. And we have baked in a ton of great tooling to make it as easy as possible for folks just like yourselves to go and write the perfect prompt and get the most out of that model. And so that's an AI skill. Just an AI skill alone is helpful, but it really doesn't solve your automation needs until you combine that with some kind of action. And we're an action platform. We provide the ability to go and automate all kinds of different tasks via API tasks that run in the cloud, or bot runners that run, on your desktops or deployed instances, unattended bot runners. We can automate UI screens. There's a number of different things we can do in this area. Combining the two of those capabilities together, we believe produces what's called an AI agent. And those agents can then be used within your processes and across your automations to go and move your business forward. Now, this is all completely controlled and surrounded by a deep layer of security and governance. And Rinku's going to take you through a lot of those details and the big investments we've made in the last 2 releases and some things we have planned for the future here. We believe that for those of you that are still struggling with getting going with generative AI, either because you haven't really spent a lot of time focusing on it, or there's internal policies that are either restricting or governing the use of it that you haven't been able to meet yet, we think AI Agent Studio and the AI governance capabilities are really going to be a great place for you to start. And whenever we meet again, and hopefully a couple months at another product club, we're really excited to see some of those numbers start to change. So with that, let's jump into a couple of new capabilities that we've brought into the platform since we last met. Next slide, please. Awesome. We can go through this slide as well. I've kind of already talked to that piece. Thanks, Lou. So we're going to start with this new capability we brought in that's focused around grounding LLMs. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest challenges that customers often cite, and a lot of you kind of echoed this as well, is in 2 areas. One is either you're not sure how the models are using your data and you're not sure what data is being provided to the models, or the second is you're not really sure that you can trust the responses that come back from these Gen AI models. And in most cases, if you're asking generic questions like, explain black holes to a 7th grader, you're going to get a pretty good set of information. But if you go and ask a model, let's say GPT-4o Mini as an example, give me the details on a policy that was just submitted by a customer, it's going to have no idea what you're talking about because it hasn't been trained on that data. It doesn't have access to that data. That's where approaches like retrieval augmented generation and then some of the capabilities we've introduced within AI Agent Studio can really help out. What they do is it allows you to go and upload your content into a number of different sources. We'll talk about what that is here in a second. And then it actually utilizes that sources whenever you're making requests to the model. I'm going to show you guys an example of what this looks like. In the last couple of releases, we've brought in a lot of new capabilities to support better efficacy or higher accuracy around the model responses. So if you're an AWS customer and you use something like Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases, we have integration into that. It allows you to upload your content there. If you're a GCP customer and you want to take advantage of the Vertex AI solution, we've got you covered there as well. And we introduced at our Imagine event earlier this year our own version of a RAG service called Enterprise Knowledge. Enterprise Knowledge allows you to go and upload your content directly into a source. We'll automatically vectorize that and create all the document understanding that you need there. And then you can tie that directly into your automations. In our latest release, we've actually introduced new capabilities to support both the knowledge-based capabilities on Amazon Bedrock, the GCP capabilities on Vertex, and now Automation Anywhere Enterprise Knowledge. And we're really excited for you guys to get access to that to help improving some of the results of the model usage. Next slide, please. We've also made big improvements over the last 2 releases to make the execution of our AI agents even faster than ever. And we've done that by allowing you to embed agents directly within your API tasks. So for those of you that aren't aware, API tasks are our cloud runtime as a service. So it basically automation as a service layer. You don't have to worry about standing up VMs or deploying bot runners. We manage all of that for you in the cloud, and you can simply go and build your automations, and then they'll run in a significantly less amount of time. We've seen a lot of customers go up to 80% performance improvements just by moving from API tasks alone. And if you think about combining that in a process and then doing that at scale, you can imagine the amount of time savings you can have there. AI agents are a great way to be utilized by API tasks because they're meant to execute incredibly fast as they make decisions and then go route that throughout the rest of your process. Next slide, please. I'm going to turn it over to Rinku, who's going to talk a little bit about some of the big improvements we've made around governance within AI Agent Studio over the last couple of releases. Rinku?
Thank you, Jason. Yes, a very key and important aspect as we consider leveraging and harnessing the power of generative AI. We're all familiar, large language models have revolutionized AI applications, opening up several opportunities to automating some of the complex real-world scenarios. However, fully harnessing this potential comes with unique challenges and the need for consistent and accurate outputs. So democratization of AI, the rapid adoption, the non-deterministic nature of generative AI has really imposed a lot of risk around brand reputation, as well as questioning the trustworthiness of the AI-built applications. So in some of the recent and famous blunders that we have all seen, and how generative AI could, cost brand reputation, right? So with AI Agent Studio, our vision has been to ensure safe and reliable and responsible use of Gen AI within automations. With the AI Agent Studio, a suite of features that has empowered you to not only enhance the development ability to increase productivity, we've also empowered you with tools to securely connect to all the models that you prefer using, right? Our platform is open, which has enabled you to connect to all these models securely. Along with the governance features, you can now see what the interactions has been with these models, what were the prompts and model responses exchanged between the users. You're able to audit, you're able to monitor all in real time through the governance capabilities we have introduced. We actually simplified some of the AI risk management through the tools that we provided. So you can now audit the number of models that are being used across your automation estate. You can see what those usage trends are. You can also make sure users are using only vetted models, approved models. So if there are models that are unapproved, there are mechanisms to control those usage and make sure users are adhering to the safe practices of using only approved models within their automations. Along with that, we have envisioned product capabilities that will allow you to enforce guardrails for masking sensitive data within prompts and model responses, as well as analyzing any toxic content that might be embedded. So we'll talk a bit about this feature towards the end of the presentation. It's on our roadmap, and right now we are getting ready for preview availability of this feature. Next slide, please. So we've realized governing usage of AI with the right set of tools can be a real challenge. So with the .34 release, we have introduced the new model usage rule to govern usage of only vetted or approved models through enhancing our code analysis feature, which some of you might be familiar with. So what this does is it allows you to enforce AI use policy when developing automations, monitor violations if there are when automations were developed without with models that were unapproved, as well as prevent check-ins when automations are in violations with these policies. Additionally, we have introduced some interesting dashboards, which is available through our automation command center. It will enable you to derive valuable insights from all the data that we collect for automations when you're interacting with these models. This gives you complete visibility into the risk posture as you implement the responsible AI framework within your organization. So we have introduced the 3 widgets here to visualize the top automations using AI, model utilization, what does this utilization pattern look like across your automation estate, as well as a very important widget for you to keep track of all the tokens that are being consumed when automations are executed. So let's look at these features through a live demo, and we can see how this looks within the product itself. All right, thank you, Jason. What you see here is the AI governance page where we have shown the top model utilized across all your automation estate. And as you can see, as Jason is hovering over each of these bars, they are pretty much displaying the information about what those bars represent. The idea was we've made this pretty interactive to provide all the drill downs, the necessary drill downs to get to the right information set you're looking for. The table below, model utilization, essentially provides you a view of all the models that are being used across your automation estate. What are the automations that are using those models? What are the number of model calls you're making? What devices are running? So this kind of gives you a 360-degree view of the usage trend. Additionally, as you can see, these charts are exportable. You can view these charts in an offline manner, or you can use it for your own reporting purpose. The next widget is the token consumption widget, a very important widget as you look into costs, because these models are not free of cost, so you do need to optimize the cost as well. So giving you a visual or giving you data that will support or help you understand what is the total token consumption to further optimize the cost across your automations when you're using generative AI. Similarly, the table that we have provided below again gives you a whole lot of details around the consumption. These have drill downs, and as I said, if you, in the token consumption detail, if you click on the automation name, you're able to drill down into the log view that will help you view the actual exchange that took place when the automation was executed during that time window. So the idea here is with the drill downs, you can see what was the model used, what was the prompt and the responses that were exchanged. So if we click on one of the sessions, there you go. The session details essentially lays out all the model interaction. Let's expand on the model here. You'll see the prompt, the responses that were exchanged during the execution. Along with that, tucked in are more details about the parameters that were exchanged with the model when the automation was executed. So this will really help in understanding in the real world scenario, how did this all occur or how did this happen? Remember, model responses or how the model responds to a prompt, I mean, these are pretty inconsistent in nature. With these kind of reporting tools and visibility, you can keep track of how the models are responding and if they are consistent in nature, if they are safe in nature. So these are some of the tools that will help you establish the monitoring and auditability of all the activities that take place. Let me talk about another very important governance feature we have introduced in .34, and that is our expansion of the code analysis rule. Here, what Jason is showing is an automation that was developed, and the automation with the code analysis run, you can see there was a critical severity violation that was found. And when we look further to see what that violation is, you would see that that the automation is not compliant in terms of what approved models it has used. So here, because the automation has used a model different from the approved Amazon Bedrock, it reported that violation. So let's now go ahead and fix that and see how that would impact the automation. So as an admin, I now have approval to use the model that my automator wanted to use. So I'll go ahead and add this new rule here within the AI governance rule. I will add OpenAI, which was the model I wanted to use. I'll use a wildcard so that ways I open up all models so that any model that's of interest from OpenAI can be used. So now once that is applied and I go back and test for the code analysis, run it and see if the violation was triggered, we see that the violation has been resolved. So this puts you in complete control of what models can be used within automations. So we have introduced a lot of such features. One was through our model connection, which was another way of securely connecting to models. Here's another way to enforce policy when developers are using generative AI command package, developing automations using those command actions. You can now enforce these policies and ensure only vetted and approved models are used. So with that, I conclude the demos for our governance. And Jason, I'll let you talk through all the interesting tools that you have introduced through AI Agent Studio.
Yeah, thanks, Rinku. Really, really exciting stuff. We're excited for our customers to start utilizing this and hopefully spread their adoption of generative AI. Now, Rinku had just mentioned one other capability we had previously shipped within AI Agent Studio called Model Connections. Model Connections allow you to securely and responsibly connect to these generative AI models. And then once you've established that connection, you can reuse it across AI skills, AI agents, and within your automations and within your solutions. We support a number of leading models across all the major hyperscalers, OpenAI, Azure, Google Vertex, Amazon Bedrock. And as I mentioned, we brought some new RAG capabilities into the models as well. So let me show you kind of what it looks like. If you haven't poked around in AI Agent Studio since the last time we met, this is basically the process of creating a model connection. I won't go through the entire wizard, but there's a couple of key things I want to point out. First of all, if we choose our vendors, you'll notice right now I have 5 different vendors: Bedrock, our own, Azure OpenAI, Vertex AI, and then OpenAI itself. If I go and look at something like Amazon Bedrock, you'll notice now I have new types. So standard is going to be just your standard vanilla models. If you're doing any fine tuning, so you're taking, let's say, on something like Bedrock, maybe you're taking like an Anthropic model and you're fine tuning that, you're enriching that with your own data. So typically somebody from your data science team would do this, and you deploy that, you can go and access that. And as I mentioned, we're also introducing new grounding capabilities. So now you want to go and take a model, maybe grounded by a particular knowledge base. You can see you have a number of models that are available to go and select here. Now, I mentioned within the most recent release that's rolling out into sandboxes and production tenants within the next couple of weeks, we've introduced new capabilities to also integrate with our enterprise knowledge capability. If you've never seen enterprise knowledge, you can get to it through ai.automationanywhere.com. And it allows you to go and upload content there, and then again, use this as a retrieval augmented generation source. You've been able to use this via our command packages within automations for a while now. And with this most recent release, we've now made it possible to also go and actually bring it in as a new model connection type. So now when you select Automation Anywhere, you won't be able to select anything here because it's the only model connection we offer today, but you can just barely see it since it's grounded by enterprise knowledge. And then you have an opportunity to go and utilize the RAG capabilities there. So we've introduced, as I mentioned, these new RAG capabilities. What does this actually look like? How do you take advantage of this? Well, a great example, if you've really never seen this play out, I'm going to go into an AI skill. And you can see I've got a pretty meaty prompt here. The purpose of this prompt is to go and take some information via what are called prompt inputs. These are basically the connections from an AI skill into an API task or an automation, and utilize things like annual income and loan requested amount for somebody that wants to go and finance a car. And the purpose of this skill is it's going to go and essentially take some information and it's going to go and generate a recommendation table that looks kind of like this. And we've asked it to output it in JSON format because that's an easy format for different agents to share. Now, the piece of information that's missing here, though, is this finance auto loan guidelines document. There's no way that a model would have access to this type of information. And you could have similar types of information within the organization that you work at. You want to provide some additional information so that whenever the skill runs, it combines the two of those pieces together to produce an output. And that's an example of what RAG can do. So as I go and I've ran this particular skill, you can see it comes back with an approval status for this loan recommendation. It also gives all the different terms. It actually gives us 4 different sets of terms, and it scores it based upon some of the AI capabilities that are built into the model. So that's some of the new capabilities we've added around retrieval augmented generation, but we haven't stopped there. A lot of you have said, you know what, we want to take advantage of models as soon as they're available. Or we want to be able to go and take advantage of models that are available across the entire internet. So model providers like Hugging Face, as an example, which offer 600,000 plus different models. Or maybe we've got a data science team that's building our own models. With lots of customers had conversations with them about this, and we want to take advantage of that. Or maybe even a really common request we've started to get lately is, I don't actually have access to models directly, but I have essentially a model gateway that I can utilize, and how do I go and take advantage of that? And so we thought about this long and hard, and what we came back with was a way to make it possible for you as a customer to actually register your own model definitions within Automation Anywhere and actually go and build against those. So if we come back in here, I just want to do a quick test. You'll notice here, as I mentioned earlier, we have these 5 different vendor types. I'm going to cancel out of this. I'm actually going to bring over a tool. So in the .35 release, again, that's what's coming out in customer tenants within the next several weeks. We've introduced a new API that allows you to go and register your own types of models. So I'm going to bring a tool called Postman. If you're not familiar with Postman, it essentially allows you to interact with APIs programmatically, and it simulates what you can do sort of via the UI sometimes. This is actually an example. We've provided this Postman example in the documentation that supports our new release, and Nirmal will talk more about that here in a second. But as you look right now, I'm going to go and just hit this method, which says list defined models. As I hit that, I have no models defined, so I wouldn't expect anything to come back here. I've decided I want to go and introduce one of the Meta Llama 3 models, and that happens to be hosted on an open source platform called Hugging Face. So I'm going to simply go and run this API call. And now it's as simple as that. Now, when I go back in to go create a new model connection, and I go look at my vendor, now we've got Hugging Face. And I've got a particular model here that I can go and work with. They all happen to be standard. And I can provide all the authentication details. I can test the connection to that, and I can invite that roles. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to go and connect even more models than we have available natively within AI Agent Studio and the rest of the A360 platform. And as new models are coming out, we'll actually go and continue to make these Postman payloads available so you can start using those within your system as soon as possible. Now, the last thing I want to talk about today, and probably the third area where we've tried to make it as easy for you to get started with generative AI and building agents, is we know that for a lot of customers, you don't even really know where to start. We've talked about a lot of concepts. We talked about AI governance, we've talked about AI skills, we've talked about writing prompts, but a lot of you have given us feedback that we just want some examples of how to go and get started. We've started to invest really heavily in AI solutions. We've made those available via the bot store. We've got a number of solutions that are out there already. They deal with various different verticals or horizontal solutions like service operations or different things like that you might struggle with within your organization. In this latest release, we've also gone and extended the template capabilities that comes natively within A360. So if I jump over into the repo, you may or may not be aware that we've had this capability to go create examples from templates now for a while. It started with task bots, We added process templates in the last release, and now I'm excited to go and share with you here today that we've also added AI skills. So as I jump into creating something from a template, you'll notice I've got my AI skill tab is already selected, and here's 4 different example templates that we have available today. Now, this feature is rolling out between now and the end of January, where we hope to have many, many more skills available. But if you haven't used our template capabilities ever before, let's say that I wanted to go and look at maybe how can I go and do something like financial analysis via an AI skill. I simply click on the binoculars, and this is going to take me to a preview of what that skill looks like. You'll see in this particular example, it's a pretty long prompt. And what it's done is it basically allows you to go and provide some company information in a particular format. And as you run that, it will give you all kinds of different analysis around the performance of that particular company. That's just an example. As you saw earlier, we have a lot of different types of examples there. The kind of key point here, though, is as I go back into from template again, if you want to get started with one of these, you simply click on that button, you'll hit continue, you'll give it a name, and then you'll actually go and copy that locally into your own repo to start working with and extending and making it your own. So with that, we've covered a lot of ground today. I want to make sure that we still have time for some Q&A and wrap up. So Lou, I think I'll go ahead and stop sharing. I'll turn it back over to you and we can wrap up. Awesome. Thanks very much, Lou. So we have a big area of focus on AI Agent Studio in the next full calendar year. We've shipped a lot of updates since we went GA at Imagine earlier this year in July, as you've seen here today. And there's about many things we want to work on, but there's kind of 4 big points that we're focusing on between now and sort of the next couple of releases. First is continuing to build out and flush out the AI agent landing experience within the control room. You'll note that one of the things you saw today that I didn't explicitly call out was a new AI section in the navigation panel. We're going to continue to build that out more, surface up things like AI skills and AI agents to you in easier ways, so that it isn't so hard to have to jump all the way down into repo to figure out what you want to work with, and give you more visibility and usability within the platform. We're also going to introduce a new system prompt type to join our user prompt that exists today in our AI skills. This is going to give you more flexibility and give the models a little bit more tight guardrails around what they're doing whenever they're executing a request. And the goal is to improve the accuracy of that. We also want to invest heavily in the prompt testing experience. So today you can test an AI skill against a single model. We want to add new capabilities in the future that allow you to test against multiple models at one time to judge, sort of what the best response is, as well as feed in data sets for testing. So one of the use cases here is really as you think about moving from, let's say, GPT 4.0 to 4.0 mini, maybe for cost savings, you want to make sure that that new version of the model is giving you at least the same accuracy as possible as you got on the previous version. And so giving you more testing capabilities around that. And then the last is a real focus around AI guardrails. Rinku, do you want to talk a little bit about more what your future looks like there?
Absolutely. I mean, this is pretty exciting as we get close to our preview in January. With AI Guardrail, we are introducing capabilities that will allow you to identify sensitive data within the prompts or model responses. Essentially, the goal here is to make sure you're able to implement responsible AI frameworks and ensuring some level of security around the usage. So the feature will allow you to evaluate when you're developing with AI skills, see how the execution will look like when Guardrail is enforced, what kind of sensitive data that was embedded. It has a smart recognition model that will allow you to recognize sensitive data, known PII, PHI, or PCI data that is embedded within the prompts. So this is an inline content analysis mechanism wherein all the prompts and the model responses will be intercepted, and they will be scored for toxicity based on the language that has been used, as well as identify any sensitive data that is embedded within the prompts and model responses so that they can be obfuscated or they can be tokenized on their way out to the LLMs. Similarly, when the model responses are received, we intercept them back again to detokenize or unmask those values before delivering the content to the end user or to the automation that's consuming it. So the goal here is to ensure a transparent application of guardrails that requires minimal configuration on your site. There's a lot of out-of-box configuration already set up so that this is ready to go when you enable this feature. We've also introduced audit capability, so there is traceability of the guardrail action when this is applied to the automations when they're executed. So within the audit reports or the AI governance logs that we showed earlier, you will now see toxicity scores as well as the masked values for all sensitive data that was embedded within the prompt as well as the model responses. So truly excited. This is a great feature to enhance privacy as well as equipping you with new set of governance tools as well as tools for your developers that will accelerate adoption of generative AI as well as build the confidence and the trust that you need while building these applications with generative AI.
Okay, and then with that, really quick, I'm going to go ahead and launch our third poll. Thinking about some of the challenges we've discussed today, how are you addressing these challenges? So the first response is we're exploring solutions. We don't know how to. We don't have plans to address them as of now, and we have built-in solutions to address them. All right. So it looks like the majority of folks are exploring solutions currently. Some people don't know how to, no plans to address some of them as of now. And then we have 11% who have built-in solutions to address them. So that's really good to know. Thank you guys for sharing. All right. Okay, and then on this slide, we have some AI Agent Studio documentation. So I can go ahead and share some of this stuff. We will be posting the recap of this session on the community. So we'll also include those links there. But Jason, Rinku, are we good to open up for Q&A, or did you guys have something else?
Yeah, I think we are open for the Q&A, or should I go over the docs updates, or we have less 9 minutes time.
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and you go over some of the documents, and then if we have time at the end, we can do Q&A. We've been having questions come through that Max has been fielding, so
Sure.
we can go ahead and go over this stuff.
Sounds good. So these links, what you see in this slide, are all the new documentation features that we documented, what Jason and Rinku talked about. Let me share my screen and quickly go over those links in the documentation portal. Can I share? Yeah, thank you. I hope you see my screen, right? So what you see here is a documentation, the public documentation portal. You can access by going to docs.automationanywhere.com, and to see all the features, like you can directly click on the style which is on the home page, or if you're searching for some of the particular feature, you can actually search in the search box and you can directly go to that link. So let me jump into the features covered by Jason and Rinku to show where it is actually in the docs portal. So when you click on as I said, when you click on this AI Agent Studio, you actually land here in this AI Agent Studio link here. And there are two important certain like important topics which are AI tools, and this contains all the topics, features covered by Jason. And AI governance has all the features what covered by Rinku. Coming here, here as Jason talked about the grounded model using the Amazon Bedrock rack, and ground model and automation anywhere. All the topics are here. For example, shows this topic on Amazon Bedrock shows how you can actually do it and do the Amazon side and then come to the agent studio side. It's explained here, and who are all the personas involved is also explained in this topic. Similarly, we have heard all these things here. The other important thing what Jason showed was custom model definition. That is this here. When you click on this link, this opens up this one here. Come on. So here we, as he said, like for the custom model definitions, giving this opportunity to have this APIs in order to connect to this model, see these models into the control room. And here we have explained about these APIs. Sorry, it's loading. I don't know why. Yeah. So here we have done a diagram how an API, this endpoint can be used to seed a custom model. Like this model should be a REST API compatible, and this can be seeded into the control room, and how it can be used within an automation. All the key informations are here. I want to quickly show this. If you click on this link, this actually opens a public AI Agent Studio API topic. This is a reference guide, API reference guide, where we have the sample request response. We have all the request and response listed here, which you can quickly look at it. And you can also download the Postman collection what Jason showed from here in this link. So other things I want to touch base are the templates, like the create template from an AI skill is this link here, where it explains how you can create a template out of an AI skill. And also this topic here where it says how you can AI skills from a template. So this is all under the AI tools topic. And what Rinku has covered is all under here, the AI governance, which is under this AI tools. So these are the things which I wanted to cover. Yeah, back to you, Lou. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I posted those main links in the chat. So AI Agent Studio, the link with all of the tools, the version 0.34 release and 0.35. So with that, we can go ahead and open things up for Q&A. It looks like, Jason, you are currently answering one. The question is, when we upload documents to the knowledge base, is there a way to configure RAG architecture?
Yes, you can in many different instances, specifically Amazon Bedrock Knowledge Base and Google Cloud Vertex AI offer a lot of customization options whenever you want to go and configure both those RAG offerings. Automation Anywhere's Enterprise Knowledge is a little bit more sort of focused on getting documents uploaded quickly. There's some small modifications and changes you can make, but by and large, we actually take care of a lot of that heavy lifting for you. And so really as a customer, you have almost infinite, options on which of those different sort of approaches you want to take.
Thank you. And then we did have some questions come through during the presentation. Max, do you want to go over a couple of the ones that you answered? I think some of them would be beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, sure, no problem at all. So on my side, we had a lot of questions come in asking for both how you can set up the enterprise knowledge, how you can utilize the model connections, And really just the hands-on usage of the tools with a demo in place. And luckily for all of you, we have built out the video that will be available very soon within the AAU. But what we're currently in the process, because of how many people have been asking for this, I am getting this uploaded to YouTube specifically for everybody that's joined this product club here. So you'll all get exclusive early access to the video that will go over all of the steps to both set this up, test it, and configure it both within your automations. And this is both utilizing it within your task bots or your API tasks as well. So that video will be landing in your inbox shortly.
Awesome. It looks like we have another question that has just come through. Hope we can get documents used in the tutorial as well as in the YouTube description to try hands-on.
Yes, so what we actually utilize within the enterprise knowledge side of it is I guess the use case that we've got, we have sample documentation that can be available and is all open source. So to really be able to test this and get hands-on with the enterprise knowledge, when you watch the video that we put out there, you'll be able to build a test case on open source documentation that you can easily find online, and you'll be able to see how you can really tailor your automations based on them data sets, just like Jason was showing in the demo that he showed in today's video.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions? If so, go ahead, type them in the Q&A section.
You're too kind.
Agreed.
He's going to hold on to that one forever. He's going to say, you remember what that anonymous attendee said about me? Okay, perfect. Well, with that, we can go ahead and conclude the webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This was truly insightful. Thank you to our participants for asking thought-provoking questions. It really does help us out. It helps out other attendees. So we just appreciate you, and panelists, we appreciate you as well. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye all.
Bye.